Hello everyone. Now in this video I'm going to put some wireless networking into this little network of ours here. So I'm just going to do it the cheap way with a TP-Link home router. We'll call it a router, but for intents and purposes of this video, this is not going to be doing any routing. Okay, we know that if you've been following this batch of videos, I've got pfSense as a virtual machine on Proxmox here doing our routing between the LAN and the WAN. Okay, so just to recap, at the moment I've got a laptop here wired through a switch to the LAN side of our router here, and then it shoots off out to the internet. So if we look at its IP address, okay, there it is, 192.168.0.10/24. Now it got that IP address from the dhcp server, which is on pfSense. Okay, so everything works there. It can ping the outside world. Okay, beautiful. Now, the thing is, with these home routers, they're not just routers, they're not just access points, they're not just switches, it's also a DHCP server. So these are multifunctional devices here. But all I want it for is an access point to give us wireless connectivity to our existing network, because I've already got a router, DHCP server, a switch over here. But if I put this on the network as it is and just sort of joined that from its switch to my switch and turn that on, we'd have a problem, because this also has, by default, a DHCP server. So this gives out addresses too to normal people's home network. Thing is, I've already got a DHCP server on the network, and if I just plug that in, we'd have a situation where I've got two DHCP servers. So when a client asks for an IP address, you can't be sure which one it's going to get it from. Okay, so it's problematic. So what we have to do is disable the DHCP server in this, but I've got to connect to it first. So I'll do that now. So to start with, I'll plug it into the existing switch here, but I'll just take the existing DHCP server out of the way there, just to get that out the way. Okay, so I'll plug this in and let it start up. Now I'm going to restart this laptop to start absolutely fresh on the new network with a new DHCP server, rather than messing around and doing it manually. Just to keep it simple so you can follow this. Okay, so you've just started this computer up. We've got this router here with its DHCP server, this switch going into this computer. Okay, it's booted up now, and if I have a look at the IP address, it got 192.168.1.100. Okay, now that's a different network to my one, because my one's 192.168.0.0/24. So it's a different network, so I wouldn't have been able to talk to this even if I didn't get an IP address from it, okay, because it's on a different network. So anyway, I want to find out its IP address, and it will be the default gateway. So what I can do is just do an IP route, just check that, and I see the default gateway is 192.168.1.1. So that'll be the IP address of this. So I'll just connect to it with a web browser, because it will use a web UI for config. Okay, so in here, just 192.168.1.1, and here it is. It wants a password, okay, because it's brand new. C78. Now log in with the password. Okay, so we're in. Okay, now I'm not going to bother with any of the simple stuff. I'm just going to go click on advanced, do it myself. And what we really want to do is look at the network settings, in particular the LAN settings, because that's the LAN side that we're dealing with here. And what I want to do, as I said, is disable the DHCP server. So there it is, enabled. That's how we got this IP address for this machine. So I just want to disable that. And also I want this to be a host on my network. Now my network ID is 192.168.0.0/24. So I won't be able to talk to this if it uses that address. So I've got to make it something that's on my network. So I'll make it 192.168.0. I'll use 253 because I used 254 for my pfSense router. I'll just make this 253. Okay. So that'll do for now. I've just set its IP address and disabled the DHCP server. So I'll save that, and it wants to reboot. So I'm going to reboot that. Okay, and that's that. So now what I will do is I'll just get this out of the way again and start clean again, because I like starting clean with these things. So now I'll plug my existing DHCP server into the switch. Okay, so now I've got back to where we were with my router in pfSense doing the routing, and also the DHCP server for the network. So I've got the laptop started up here, and if I look at the IP address, it's back to the 192.168.0.10 address. Okay, so that would have got that from my DHCP server nicely, and of course I can ping my router, which is .254. Okay, and The IP address that I gave the this router, which I'm now going to call the access point, the AP, I gave it the address of 253. And there it is, pinging. So now what I can do is go to the same web UI that I had before for this on its new IP address. So 192.168.0.253. And we're in. I gave it that password before. And there we go. So now I just want to check the wireless part of it, because that's why I've got it on here. So I'll just go wireless, and it's enabled. There's a password. I'm not going to get into wireless stuff in this video. It's just the concept of connecting it to an existing network without using other functionality of these devices. So there's the SSID, which is the network name, and the password for it. So what I'll do on here, I'll go to the wireless config, the Wi-Fi settings, and it was that one there. It wants a password, which was 10964613. Okay, and I'll connect on that, hopefully. Okay, it's got a tick there like it's connected. Now if I go back to the console here, just have a look at the IP addresses. I've got one here on my wired interface, 192.168.0.10, and one on the wireless one. Now, I don't need the wired one anymore, obviously, so I'll just unplug that. And now I've just got this machine on wireless. So, to see if we've still got connectivity, good old Bing Google, there it is. Okay, so I've added an access point here so that I can have wireless connectivity to my network. And you saw that I disabled the DHCP server, and I also made sure the IP address was one that's part of my network here so I can access it. Now, that functionality, the IP address and the DHCP server, they're layer 3. When you're talking IP addresses, we're talking layer 3 in the OSI model. But I don't really care about this thing doing any layer 3 stuff. All I'm using this for is an access point so that the wireless frames, which will come from any wireless client like this one, it will just bridge them through to the switch. Okay, so it'll do the wireless side on here in the air, and then wired straight into the switch. It doesn't have to do anything with routing or networking. At that point, it's just a different way of getting this into the switch. It went from wireless through there, then along the copper into the switch. Now the reason it has an IP address, as you saw, is because I still need to manage this thing. I might want to change the SSID, that's the wireless network name, and I might want to change the password of the wireless network, change some other settings with the wireless network, so I still need to manage this as an access point. So it needs an IP address for that purpose, but it doesn't need one for the actual functionality of the AP. Okay, so we've got wireless on here now, and of course in the future we're going to go right into wireless, but it's important to note that wireless is basically layer 1 and the bottom half of layer 2 in the OSI model. Okay, anything from there upwards is all the same, okay, whether it's wired or wireless. So that's why I went through that OSI model before, because it comes up all the time. It's important to know where things sit in that model, and makes it a lot clearer when you're trying to conceptualize the whole system. Okay, so that's one cable I can disconnect now and just use wireless from here on with this laptop. So I'll leave that there. I'm going to go more into wireless eventually and go right into it. Okay, but just remember that it's just an access technology, layer 1, bottom half of layer 2, and everything else will be the same. So we'll do some more networking or Linux in the next video, but until then, take it easy.